Welcome back to another episode of NFT Catcher Podcast. We'd like to remind everybody that nothing on the show is meant as financial advice, and to please do your own research. Thank you, and enjoy the show.
Now the subject is NFTs.
They're known as non-fungible tokens, or NFTs.
NFTs are exploding in popularity.
This is a technology that will forever change the way people interact.
So it is happening whether you understand it and like it or not.
This phenomenon is moving. The digital.
You have now joined Jenny from the blockchain and Michael Keene on the NFT Catcher Podcast.
What's up, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the NFT Catcher Podcast with me, Jenny from the blockchain, and my co-host, Michael Keene. For today's interview, we have Jen Fassino joining us, who is the Web3 events queen, I will say. She is the founder of Gather, a Web3 native event management service. Jen, welcome to the show.
GM, how are you guys?
GM. I want to point out that we're name twins, so automatically that gives you bonus points.
D-Gens, I love it.
Yes,
J
D-Gen. Oh, that was good. D-Gens, yes. So, yeah, excited to have you on the show. We want to start out by asking how you got into Web3, how you found out about NFTs. What is your Web3 origin story?
Oh, goodness. So my Web2 journey, I was in the hairdressing world. I used to own a hair salon, and I moved to LA and became a celebrity hairdresser. Kind of an interesting segue to get into Web3. I bootstrapped a hair care brand and actually sold it. And so during the pandemic, I was a little bored and hopped on an app called Clubhouse. And Clubhouse, I started actually for fun as a hobby, doing a comedy podcast. It doesn't exist anymore. It's called Gen AF. And so I started a little kind of a group called the Comedy Podcast Club. And from there, we used to interview a lot of comics. Eddie Brill was one of our hosts. I don't know if you guys were on Clubhouse at all, but we interviewed Dane Cook, Bill Burr, a lot of bigger celebrities and former people I knew from Los Angeles as well. From there, a couple of people started talking about NFTs, and I was like, what is an NFT? So as you know, like during the heyday, the early 2021 vibes, everyone was kind of going nuts with the Bored Ape Club. And I saw that I saw those rooms they did. And I was like, this is so stupid. No one's ever going to do this. And lo and behold, here we are. So I got really into it, started trading, did a couple little projects of my own in the meme area for NFTs. And so, yeah, just kind of migrated to Twitter like we all kind of did from Clubhouse.
Heck yeah. No, it's wild. Clubhouse was my home too. I was there all early 2021. All those rooms, actually hosted a bunch of rooms. That's how I kind of got the confidence to do a podcast, really, because I was hosting rooms and we were having great conversations and people were telling me I should do it. So Clubhouse was awesome back then. I was in all those Farouk rooms you're probably in. And
Yeah.
now that you're saying that with those interviews, I remember Dane Cook being on there, and it's kind of ringing a bell. I kind of might remember you from on there.
Wait, isn't he a comedian?
Yeah, Dane Cook's a comedian. He was really popular, like 20 years ago, probably.
Yeah.
Like ultra popular, like one of the most popular comedians. Bill Burr's, I bet Jen doesn't know Bill Burr, way out of her.
I don't. Wait, is Dane Cook into NFTs?
I don't think so. He did more of like that self-help kind of realization, little comedy. I think I've seen him a little bit on Twitter, but I think he just kind of was into the Clubhouse. And then that's how the other comedians like Leah Lamar got really big. Yep. She was kind of into that realm. There was a bunch of crossovers. So everyone kind of migrated. So the OG is like those who you see like the Farouk and people like that kind of got really big on that platform. So
do you know Jeff Weisbaum? I think is his last name, Cackles. He was probably yes. Yeah. I'm buddies with him. So that's probably I figured he might be in that crew with you. Yeah.
Oh, wow. But I haven't thought of him in a while. We actually follow each other on Instagram too. He's really OG, but I don't think I've seen him creeping around on Twitter.
Yeah, I haven't seen him too much either. I should send him I'm going to send him a message and say, that reminds me. He's a good guy. He lives near me. He actually lives like real close. We're both in South Florida.
Don't dox him.
Don't dox him. I love the OG
I gave
vibes.
his full name and his, should I say the
social security number?
Yeah, it's like,
do not.
His mother's maiden name.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Well, his seed phrase is no.
I would not trust giving you my secret. That's
I don't blame you.
You're like my sister, just can't keep a secret, just so bad.
A secret. I'm giving him a shout. I'm giving him a shout out. I'm giving him a shout out.
I'm dead.
Okay. Anyway, so you're a celebrity hairstylist in LA, and now you run a Web3 event management service. How did that come about?
So that's a great question too. So during the Clubhouse days, everyone was like, hey, we're going to go to Art Basel. And there's going to be a ton of NFT events and parties and all this stuff. And I was like, that sounds awesome. So I just met a bunch of strangers for the first time in real life. I decided to book a flight to Miami. This was 2021. So we all kind of met each other and had an incredible time. Well, on the flight back from Miami, early morning back to Austin, I actually met one of the founders of a very well-known NFT project and was on the same flight. And they had their logo on a t-shirt. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's the NFT project. You're in NFTs and like whatever. And they didn't mention anything about owning this or was a co-founder or anything. Like they were like, hey, I just moved here from a different city and there's this really cool meetup of people in Austin, Texas. We should go. You should come with me or whatever. And then after the fact, I found out who they were. And I was like, this is crazy. Like they didn't say anything about it. So I showed up to this meeting and it was at a coffee shop. They still are to this day. And I met some of the other founders in tech and NFT projects that were living in Austin. And it was a very small group started by a Bored Ape. So two of the Bored Apes started this local meetup. It got massive. And the ratio of men to women were a little off. Probably could suspect that in NFT culture, like there's not as many women hanging around. And somebody mentioned the fact like, hey, you keep bringing women here. Like you're a girl. That's really cool. And they wanted me to kind of like plan outside events. And I was like, how are you guys not know how to do this? Like, this is super easy. Like, this is just a no-brainer. So I started doing it that way. And the biggest compliment we got as a group and a unity was like during South by Southwest, Consensus, and other local events is that you guys have one of the strongest communities in town. Like, we really wish we could have that in Reno, Nevada, or Atlanta, or wherever you're based. Like, they really love coming out weekly and bi-weekly. And so I was like, I'm just going to start a platform that kind of gives that ability for other people in the space to kind of meet each other, find who's in their network, whether it's a bigger city, smaller city, or whatever. And that's kind of how Gather started, was through Austin. And it just kind of took off to me actually planning smaller to larger scale events and just kind of hosting these insane group chats and the spreadsheets. And yeah, it just kind of took off. So it's really fun.
You found your niche.
Yeah, it makes me feel good because when people come together, like, we're on the internet all the time. Like, we don't really get that social connection. And so when people come here, it's like, there's no egos, there's no drama, there's no beef. Everyone's just super happy to hang out and just like get a few hours away from the internet and just connect on what the market. I mean, usually we talk about what's happening on Twitter, like the market anyway, but it's like, at least we're there. We have a beer, you have your water, you have whatever. And people are pretty chill. So we're going bowling this Saturday, actually, a big group of us, probably like 20, 30 of people. So,
ooh,
that's a good idea. Yeah, I mean, you're exactly right. Getting together. It's one of the reasons Jen and I wanted to have you on, is because we both love going to conferences. We've been going since, in 2021, NFT NYC, and where we met everybody. And it's always such a great vibe. You don't get that. Nobody's like, you don't get what you get on Twitter, where half the comments are bots yelling at you and anonymous people. It's everyone just having a good time. We love those conferences.
No, I think they're super crucial. Like, the human element and the in real life aspect is so crucial to not only building a community that you're founding or that you're part of, but just, I don't know, like pulling people out of their shell and just kind of getting you away from that like online presence and just like, having a good network.
It also makes the online presence a lot stronger. Once you meet everybody, you get together, and then when you come back, it's a whole nother thing to be online with them. Mm-hmm.
It's like warm and fuzzy. It's very cozy.
Yeah, no doubt.
Who was the founder? I don't know if I'll say.
I could probably. Okay, so it was in 2021, and it was
clearly
somebody
they were controversial, right? Like, he was some controversial figure.
And there was somebody that had moved to Austin at the time. So
there's a lot of them here. So I don't know if you'll guess. Honestly, there's quite a few. So
was it a guy or a girl?
I won't say. It's all right.
I'm trying to think who moved to Austin and would have.
I know some people that live
if you guys come to Austin personally for South by or Consensus, I'll tell you. face to face. So
Wow.
I'll give you the
okay.
tea. I'll give you the tea. Maybe you'll meet them. I don't know. I'll give you the intro.
So that means they're still around and active. So that person,
Tyler Hobbs. It could be.
does Klon live down? Does Klon live down there? Or where does he live?
I don't think so.
Klon, she obviously is not him from Cool Cats. He's
I love that you guys are trying so hard. Next time you come here, I'll tell you face
Morgan.
to face. She does live here. I'll tell you face to face when you come.
Okay.
I love it.
We'll stop trying to get the tea. Yeah, I mean, you definitely seem like a people person, which I think that's probably the number one skill with throwing events is like knowing everybody, just having connections. And now you're hosting a lot of events and helping throw events. I saw you put a whole tweet thread together about the recent Rug Radio event, which was like, what, a 4-day thing?
Yeah, it was a 4-day boots on the ground. We had said and done about publicly, we had 7 events and then 9 total throughout 4 days. So we arrived, like, you have a day of setup, you arrive prior, you have the takedown day. So we were there for, I think, 7 or 8 days total. And I stayed on the property as well. Really late days, early mornings, the whole thing. So it was great. Like, everyone had a great time. Yeah, that's the second event I've done for them. I did Consensus here. I'm pretty sure they'll have a presence again for Consensus this year, but they're doing a lot of great stuff. I'm not an official team member. I'm agnostic in planning because there's so many different companies and people that I've known from Clubhouse to Twitter that I'm just like, I can't paint myself in a box. And we're working with anyone from like NFT Project, individuals, and yeah, but that was to this date, it's the biggest one that I've done. I've done 1-day events, 2-day events, but a 4-day event was definitely very choreographed. So
yep. It was a crazy thing. I went to the Rug Radio House. I was there the day that Snowfro and Benny had their talk, and this was a mansion on South Beach, basically. Big, huge mansion. You walk in, and there was like a Rolls Royce, and it was done really nice. What are the different things like when you go? So did they pick the house? Do you pick the house? I'd like to get a nitty gritty. How do you put together? How's that come together?
No, that's a great question. So normally, as an event coordinator, I would source the venue or property. Prior to me coming on, they had already selected that. They knew a friend of a friend, and it's like a very popular zip code. So they definitely wanted a very particular home and a venue. So they knew they didn't want anything like an official venue. It was meant to be very cozy. So I can't take credit for selecting that, even though I'm obsessed with the property. It's 40,000 square feet property. Like, it's massive. Like, and it had like 16 of us staying there at one time. Yeah. On property.
Yeah.
So
big backyard, pools, like all kinds of, yeah, for sure.
No, it was great. So pretty much in this case, the other events that I've done and executed for them I usually will source the property, either one, because I have contacts with people that coordinate the venue or events. It's just easier that way just to kind of set up, because you need to go over production and lighting and catering and all. There's so many things that factor into choosing an event, but they selected it through a separate party. So they gave me a canvas pretty much, and I helped paint the canvas due to like their vision and what they wanted to do for the new rebrand and their announcement. So,
and what was the big seed phrase thing? Where did that come from? His punk?
Oh my gosh, that's the 7 trait punk, that's seed phrases. So Danny was supposed to be there, but he wasn't able to come to the country. I forget what his scheduling conflict was, but the artist, he's such a great guy. It's Mark. I'm trying to think of his handle right now. So as an event coordinator, like, that thing weighed so much. I can't even tell you how heavy that thing was. So we had to get like at least like 5 people to help us stabilize that thing, because it was made of pure aluminum. And it was like coordinating that, and it only came for like a day and a half. And so, yeah, pretty much part of my job is doing deliveries. Like, I feel like delivery guy. So I'm like on my phone every 15-minute, 30-minute increments. I have like a spreadsheet of like, this person comes here at 11:30, this person leaves, the groceries get dropped off, the production guy, the DJ comes, like, everything is very, very, very carefully choreographed. Otherwise, yeah, it's going to be a disaster. So
there was a lot going on. I mean, food, drinks, art, people, like, it was token gated and all that.
Yes.
There was a lot going on for sure. It was really cool. What's
Yeah.
exact numbers, or if they even want to say, but what something like that costs? They must have to spend six figures, a good 6 figures, I'm sure.
Well, the zip code alone, I mean, yeah, you can guess it's probably in the 6-figure range, but yeah, it's definitely, I mean, but a lot of that comes from, sponsors that help out. A lot of it just kind of comes and goes. Because, when you have events, like, you want to make sure that you're covered financially on your own. So when people reach out to me, they want a quote, and I'm like, okay, well, do you actually have this in-house? Like, do you have sponsors? But yeah, something of that size and 4-day duration. You have to think about labor, you have to think about cleaning, you have to think about production. Like, there's so many things that go into it. So yeah, safely to say with that zip code, that's.
And like,
secret, Michael, stop trying to get information.
You're the one that was trying to get information earlier. I'm sorry I asked a question.
I'll give you anything that I can. Like I said, I used to be a celebrity hairdresser, so I'm definitely like, I keep the secrets too. I'll keep your secrets too if you tell me anything.
Oh, okay.
1,000,000%. Like, that's just kind of how I navigate this, how I have done it for years, just because people do rely on you to kind of, be that person of trust and, deliver a good service. So yeah.
Right.
Like I said, I mean,
He starts sharing their secrets.
He's like, wait a minute, what's your mother's maiden name? And make a model of your first car.
I'll say, do you think a lot of so the projects that'll do kind of traditional, like Rug Rated, that was the first thing that's been like that in Web3 that I've seen, really anything quite like that. I don't even, you know what I mean?
Yeah, besides like a multi-day seminar, which is usually at like a conference center.
Yeah, or a hotel or something.
Yeah, like a totally different vibe.
Yeah.
And so I think their vision was great. And the main emphasis of having something of that size and stature was because they really wanted to emphasize the importance of their merger, like the Decrypt announcement and all the stuff they had going on. So that was kind of the main focus in why they had multiple events, is to kind of, showcase their capabilities as a media company and who their partners are, who they're working with. And like, they're really bringing the heat for 2024. So I'm excited for you guys to kind of see some of the stuff that I know that's coming out. Their team is really great. Everything from their operations, their partners, like their influencers and their creators, like they're doing a lot of crazy stuff. So, and the house was super easy to grab beautiful content because you were on the property. So it's like, you have everything that's very, like, we'll call Instagrammable, or very very easy to capture content. So that's another reason, as a media house, they really wanted a beautiful backdrop. We'll just say that.
Yeah, I heard Farouk say they're going to try and do more activations like that. I think NFT Paris, maybe even they're doing one.
They 1,000,000% are, because Farouk is from Paris, and so that's like his that's like his backyard. So they're definitely going to do that. So I'm unfortunately not going, because I'm going to be going to Denver, which are the same weekends. You can see behind me, this giant calendar I have behind me. It's like all these different events laid out. They did that last year too, so I'm unsure why they do that. It's just kind of, their thing. But yeah, so he's definitely going to have a very large event and some activations in Paris. So
I wonder if I'm going to the wrong Paris event. I'm going to Blockchain Paris in April.
No, that's a good one too.
That's a good one too. Okay.
Yeah, that one's going to be a little bit different vibe. So obviously the NFT focus, like, you're going to know more familiar faces on Twitter. The Blockchain Paris, like, you might not know a lot of the founders or devs or the people behind the scenes. I like to call NFT Paris as one of the front facing. So the people and personalities and see consistently on the timeline, those are going to be the faces, the panelists, the speakers hosting the activation. So
no, I'm cool with it. I'm excited to go. I mean, there's all kinds of cool people there. I'm excited to do something a little different. I've been to a whole bunch of the NFT ones. I'm sure this one will be good too.
It's gonna be sick, bro.
I just keep hearing everybody talk about NFT Paris, and I'm like, wait, I'm going to a different one 2 months later.
Like, wait, Blockchain Paris, is that not?
Yeah, what?
Guys, we're going to Blockchain Paris too, right?
Yeah. No, and everyone's gone there, right? Yeah.
No, there'll be some crossover for sure. Plus, it's Paris. Like, you're gonna be there. It's warmer during that time. Like,
true.
You can't go wrong.
Paris in April. Let's do it.
Yeah, can't go wrong. With
romantic.
Paris.
No doubt.
Do you have any horror stories when it comes to events? Because I will say, I threw one event one time in Web3. It was a collaboration, and I was the one to least contribute because I had never thrown an event. And literally, we got there, and the venue, it was 75% outside, 25% inside. and it rained. So then everybody ran inside, and we had we thought, this would be perfect, the amount of people that come. And then it rained, and then literally people were packed like sardines on the inside because
it was still super fun. It was super
fun, but it was like,
was this New York?
Or where was this? Yeah, it was New York. And I'm sure things go wrong all the time. And I'm just wondering if you have any interesting stories.
I would say as an event coordinator, there will 100% something that goes wrong. Like it's like a wedding, pretty much think about that way. Like you spend all this time planning, strategizing, and even the best of the best will have something go wrong. The key is to not let the guests know that something is going wrong while it's happening. That's the key, to be more discreet or like make sure that the flow isn't interrupted. So 100%, I think every event that I've ever been to and got to be friends with the event coordinator, learned from behind the scenes, like this actually went wrong, this didn't show up, this didn't happen, and myself included. There will always be something very minor to major, just depending on the crowd, or what happens. But yeah, nothing like that's like super crazy that prevented like the event from happening. Or I don't think many people knew all the things for Miami or for the past couple of events that I've done. So that's great. So yeah, the only thing that I think happened front facing at that Rug Radio is that there was an individual that broke a piece of glass in an area that was not favorable. And so I had to go and physically clean it up. And so I'm like, a lot of people saw that. I don't want anyone getting hurt or like stepping on it, because it was like people are barefoot. So I was like, no. But other than that, like it was pretty chill, honestly. So
okay, I'm glad nobody got hurt. That would have been tragic. Somebody like steps on some glass, and
that would have been terrible. So yeah. And the injury that Thread Guy got was not at our house. It was at the other event. So like his arm got all like.
Wait, what happened? Because I like cannot see anywhere what happened to
him. He was shooting, man. He was playing ball, and I think he just fell over, and somebody, I don't know, he just got the like, what do you call that? Not rug burn, but like
from the concrete.
Scrape. From the basketball, whatever tile, whatever they call it. I don't know. The wood,
yeah, court,
the hardwood, the court. Yes, thank you. So like, someone was asking me, they're like, "Oh my god, like what happened at the house when that happened?" I'm like, that didn't happen at our house. That was during like the somewhere else. So yeah, crazy. Something will always go wrong.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Very mild. Like, they didn't deliver the right flavor of cake. It's like, come on, it's fine.
Right. The minor things that people don't really think about. Unless you're behind the scenes, and then you do.
No.
But do you get like really like stressed out and like anxious before events, or are you like, you've done it so many times that you're like, you're chill?
I think that I'm pretty poised beforehand, and then boots on the ground, like things will happen and like timelines will get disrupted because of things out of your control, like deliveries, people that are supposed to be at this certain place at this certain time. So yeah, I'm sure some people have probably witnessed a couple of things where they're like, "Oh, are you okay?" And it's like, it's just how you manage it. And so there were a couple times at a few events where I was just like, "Oh my gosh, like this isn't happening. Like this is crazy." So a little bit of stressful points, no sleep, not eating, not being able to shower most of the time, like that's kind of more stressful, because you envision. I feel like the only times I get stressed, I'll say this honestly, is when you have something so set with expectations of how that day will go. Like you can feel like it's like unstoppable. Like, hey, this is going to be this way. And then it like doesn't happen. So then I'm like, oh no, then that's where the stress comes from. Cause I'm very much passionate and like particular about what I do. So I feel like, oh, I fucked up, or like, something happened, but it's all on me to be like, hey, I executed a high level. This wasn't up to my standards and I'm upset about it, or stressed that it could have been better. I don't know. That's just personally kind of how I would get stressed. So
yeah, you seem very organized. You have a whole whiteboard calendar in the background. So I'm like,
massive.
Oh, wow. Yeah, just a massive calendar.
Yeah.
Love it. What are your favorite events? Like, what are your favorite conferences, cities, kind of thing to go to events? And what are you looking forward to most this year?
Hands down, my favorite conference is Consensus. And that's just not because I'm not saying that because I'm based here in Austin, that's where it's held. I'm just saying as a point of how they organize the event, how they pick their panelists, their people that are participating. It's been the most beneficial for networking that I've ever experienced. I've met new partners, clients, new friends, people that live locally to kind of contribute to our group chat, and just, I feel like really substantial friends, because people, it's different than the NFT conferences, because people, I feel like, tend to have like either an ego, or they're like more concerned with trading or flipping. And it's just like that whole culture of like tribalism, like, oh, you're a pudgy penguin or you're not, fuck you. Not everyone's like that, but you kind of know that vibe, like, you know, some kind of behaviors like that. But consensus, I feel like real people that are building and have ideas and just really kind of more humble and have like, they don't have the ego. I think it's just, I don't know, it's a really good conference. And it's just, I've met a lot of people that are building phenomenal companies that are actually consistent in the space and not like grifting, and just, I don't know, they're just really good people. So the last 2 years I've attended, I really encourage people to come, because it's been the most fulfilling conference personally to me. I did do VCon this last year. That was another really kind of homey, really friendly event. I really liked the vibe there. It's going to be in LA. I won't lie. I'm really disappointed that he chose LA Live for that conference. That's my only gripe about that. But
Why? Why is that?
Well, I used to live in LA, so it's like, it's just, the location is downtown. It's kind of undesirable as far as price and cost analysis, because a lot of people that, yes, there are a lot of people based in Los Angeles. It's very easy to get to, but like just the cost of hotels, the location, and just the thought of people having satellite events, I just really encourage people maybe to pump the brakes on that, because that event, you keep everything in house. And because of LA and the traffic, if you have something in West Hollywood, the East Side, West Side, it's just, the traffic and the flow of the timing, just, I don't know. I don't think it's a wise idea. I don't know if he got like a tax break or like a good deal. I loved that it was in Indianapolis. Don't really care for that city. Minneapolis area, that was great. I'm from that area. So I'm like, that was a really good strategic move, and everything was kind of in place. But I will, when it comes down to brass tacks, I really loved the vibe and the networking and just the feel of that conference. It was very different. In every aspect. So I do think that's a really heavy contender for favorite. Sorry, I'm rambling. I'm just like,
yeah,
thinking,
no, we
honestly.
both, we're like huge VCon fans. Like,
You know, Jen is a moderator at VCon both years.
I
VIP first class,
I
like
was
the
like,
whole
wait,
the whole
yes.
deal.
You were, because I remember being like, because I went there with Wallet Guard. They're local buddies of mine. I love them. Shout out to Wallet Guard.
Michael, we have Michael K on here just a month ago.
love
Yeah.
them so much. They live like 20 minutes from me in like this great like little hacker house setup. So we do events with them. But honestly, the Michael, Ohm, and Martin are some of my favorite people. They're not paying me to say this. I'd say it for free all day, but I love them. And so I went there with them, and I remember them speaking. So I did see you there briefly. I don't think we got to chat, but like, how cozy is that conference? Like, it was just really fun. Everyone was super nice. Like, nobody was an asshole. And like, I don't know, I feel like they took really good care of everybody. It was scheduled appropriately. Like, everybody, I don't know, that was my experience with it. You were kind of more behind the scenes, so maybe it was a little bit different. I was just there as a spectator for once. I didn't have to plan anything, which I love. I like to kind of let loose. Yeah. I don't have to be so like, hey, this time I've got to be here and worry about this. So I was really impressed. Like, I would love to go back. So those are my two.
That's what I was gonna say that really stood out to me from other conferences, is like what you said, where everyone's just so friendly. Like, I feel like Gary Vee kind of attracts like people, you know, he's always preaching like gratitude and attitude and like, you know, just positive vibes. And I really feel like people were just so nice and like friendly and just willing to have conversations. And yeah, it was really cool that it just felt like everybody was there and no one was trying to go to all these satellite events or anything like that. Like, everyone was like, this is where we're going. Like, we're all going to be here. And I like that.
No, I agree that I feel like in-house was best. And he like released everybody around like 6 or 7 every day. So then people from there had really like intentional meetups. Like, it was really fun. There's only like 1 or 2 options per night. And it's Indianapolis. We walked down the street. Like, it was, I don't know. I would really encourage people to go again. I really like the vibe. So
Heck yeah. Were you at that? You were there in Indianapolis, so you were probably at that the Rug Radio's like Farouk and Loxy's little like apartment or whatever.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. They made fun of me because there was a night where it kind of got a little out of control. So I was like, hey, everyone, you got to leave. What's that song? Like, you don't have to go home, but you can't stay here.
Can't
kind
stay
of a
here.
thing.
Right.
So we like moved them across the street to the bowling and we just kind of hung out too. But yeah, I've known those guys for a while. So it's
Yeah,
like
sure.
vibes, but
That was probably me. I was in there some of the nights it got too crazy, probably.
see, that's when having like an event coordinator, the main thing is like, that's kind of my job. I feel like it's really funny to kind of like regulate because sometimes you can see like it gets a little too crazy and like some events, it's like, that's why you have to curate like a good experience. And then some random people came that weren't even in Web3 and we're like, no. Like, you gotta go. You gotta go. Get out. Come on,
that was a good crowd in there. That was a who's who up in there. I mean, like that really was. I mean, it was like Deez and Luca and Corey Van Loo and Snowfro and Brian Brinkman. Like, I mean, just to name a few, it was, just hanging out.
There were definitely, I would say, like, what do you want to say? The who's who. Well, the more active presence.
It was
on Twitter,
the cool kids club. The cool kids club.
No, I hate when people say that because it's like everyone wants to strive to do that. I think it's. Right. I see what you're saying though. The more well-known personalities will say that. So
yeah.
Don't downplay yourself. Come on, man. Everyone's cool.
Oh, me? No, I'm definitely.
No, Michael was trying to say it was cool kids because he was there.
And I usually miss those parties. Like I remember being at NFT NYC and like hanging out at nighttime, and then going home. And the next morning, I'll be like, "Oh, I was at the museum party with blah 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 blah." Yeah. People was there, and I was like, "Where was I?"
You're like, "Damn it, I missed that again." So
nobody told me. I was at the the Silly Donkeys party.
But see, that brings up a good point though, because that's how I started doing these group chats. Like I started doing South by locally, and every event that I go to or every conference, I rarely go to the conference besides Consensus or VCon. Like I rarely ever would buy a ticket, or even if I was gifted one to a different conference, I don't want to be there. I want to go to the the salad events. So like New York, not the first one, but the second one I went to, like we did Loser Club, we did like Dead Fellas, like Starcatcher. Like there was a ton of stuff going on, and so I started doing group chats the conference before that, and so just kind of directing people where to go, how to sign up, how to register, and people got to be really into that like service or just me, fucking around pretty much, because I don't want you guys to miss out on all the stuff, because then the next day you're like, well, where was I? And I could have talked to this person, or I could have met this person, help with my business, or just like made face with someone I've been talking to on the internet. So yeah, you do bring up a good point. That's
All right. I got probably one last question, then I gotta dip early. Michael's gonna close it out today, folks. But so I'm changing gears a bit here, but what do you like collecting as far as NFTs go, and what's your favorite NFT that you have?
Oh my gosh. That is a loaded question, because I just started getting into Soul and the whole Ordinal thing because the internet told me so. So I really took a break on collecting the last year or so, and just really collecting from people I personally know or kind of like their art, or just know they're having a project. I kind of took a pause doing flipping because, one, I didn't really have time to keep up with that. And it's really exhausting just trying to get all the whitelists and, trying to hustle to do that. I would say that's a really tough question. I think my favorite that I own right now, I mean, I think I will always love my Loser Club, just because I was really active in that community and we did some meetups with them. I know they're not really a project so much anymore, so I don't know if that really counts, but I really, really liked my PFP. I had it for a really long time, my Blonde Hair Loser.
It definitely counts.
Yeah, I think that would be my favorite one.
I'll tell you, the longer they go as not being a project and you liking that NFT, the more of a flex it will get. The more of a flex it will be, that you'll have that in like 5 years and be like, this one.
Yeah. I did do my own NFT project last year, and I launched a day after the FTX fiasco went down. And so my launch date was 11/11, and my mentors were like, don't launch it. It was Audie's Lodge. It was like cute little otters, and I hand drew all those little guys. And I mean, obviously they'll be my favorite, but my mentor was like, Jen, don't launch this project because it's never going to mint out. And I was like, now the community really wants it. They've been telling me they'll mint it. And like out of 6,000, I think only like 1,000 or so minted out because everyone pulled all their money. They're like, we're not minting. So to this day, it's like but went over a year and a half, and they still haven't minted out. So, but hey, it's cool. They're cute.
Damn.
I did it for the culture.
Yeah, that's fun.
Yeah.
You never hear those stories though. I'm glad you shared that because people usually don't say, "Hey, I made a project and it didn't mint out."
I actually have 2 projects that haven't minted out. I did a funny one on Clubhouse. That was a very memeable project, and so that one did not mint out either, which was for good reasons, but it was kind of an adult humor one, so kind of funny.
Was it crypto dick butts?
It was similar, similar vibes. We'll just say that. So it was really funny for the culture, pixelated, and like pretty much just like as a fuck around artist. I did a pixel one. The oddies were more like a hardline draws. I'm like, I just did something for fun, and they weren't hype. They weren't like pretty much friends bought them, and they're still both hanging out on the blockchain. But I'm like, yeah, I did these. It's cool.
So you're an artist too. You just snuck that in there.
The fun thing is one day, you could do, if you're hosting some big giant event, you could say, hey, everyone that has one of these gets to come if they want.
I mean, that was.
You theoretically could,
point.
like, you don't have to, but like one day, it's always there. You could say if it's in your
wallet. I love that.
Yeah.
Hey, it's not a bad, it's not a no for sure.
Right.
I could be like, hey, remember these?
Yeah. Remember those? And then if it's such a good event that people are like, how do I get one? They start minting them.
Next thing you know, it mints out. Yeah.
Imagine? Gosh, that'd be
hilarious. I can imagine. That's the way it works. Yeah. Of course.
It's so wild to think that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's not a bad point. I think you're onto something there.
Nice.
I love it.
Wow. So we normally end with gas wars with our guests, which is really intense, really crazy, get a little nervous. No,
what?
Joking. No. It's a quick back and forth. We do like rapid fire questions. So like we usually go back and forth. I'm not sure if Jenny has time to her. She might need to dip, but I do have 5 questions I can
do mine.
All right. Why don't we do them then? Yeah.
Just let me do mine first.
We'll do them quick.
Okay.
You just want to do your 5 first?
I have to answer really quick.
Well, I guess if she answers really quick, then we can alternate. Okay, let's see.
Ooh, nervous now.
What is your favorite meal?
Ossobuco and risotto.
Ooh, ossobuco, nice. Yep. Who is your favorite stand-up comic?
Ooh, oh my gosh, we'll just say Bill Burr, 'cause that's the only one I can think. No, Chelsea Handler. We'll say Chelsea Handler.
As a child, what did you want to be when you grew up?
I think either a veterinarian or my mom told me I wanted to be a beauty cutter, which I think I did that as a hairdresser. So,
what's the best concert you've ever been to?
Ooh, hands down, Red Rocks 2016 LCD sound system, Denver. Started to rain a little bit.
Let's go. Yep. Red Rock's the best. Red Rock. I was a ticket broker for 17 years. Red Rocks was our bread and butter. We're based in Boulder. So we sold, I might have sold 100,000 tickets to Red Rocks over the years.
Oh, it was the first time. And I'm like, it will not be the last. It was magical. It was the best.
Nice. What is something on your bucket list?
Ooh, I think to travel more. There's a couple countries in Asia that I really want to go to and explore. So if things pan out this year, I might be going to Singapore and Tokyo. That would be great. I would love to do that.
Hell yeah. What's the weirdest food you ever ate?
Ooh, I lived in Italy briefly and definitely ate brain and tongue and I was not aware of it until after I said, I know that this is something weird. Don't tell me what it is until after I eat it.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Brain is crazy. I've never heard anybody say that you've eaten, except Fear Factor. I think on Fear Factor, they probably ate a brain.
It was presented in a way where like, I didn't know what it was. I knew it was something. So I was kind of hesitant, but how it was prepared, like you probably wouldn't have ever, caught it as that. So,
wow.
But yeah, I think, those are the 2 for sure. And definitely like, tripe too. That is just, had that as well there. Same day.
Yep.
Ooh, yeah.
When they cook that tripe, I'm sorry, when they cook that tripe right in Italy, though, like if you're in Florence and they make some nice, it comes out really good. You probably
tripe? What is tripe?
Ooh, it's like
it's the intestine, right? Yeah. It's
what the? Okay, moving on.
It's very common. It's like
the stomach line or the stomach lining. Which one?
Yeah,
that's crazy.
I don't
Best.
ever want to know it. Like, I'm very adventurous palate. Like, I'm not a very picky eater, but yeah, I definitely don't want to know what it is until if I'm done. Because then if I liked it, I'm like, oh, that was okay. Like, yeah.
Okay, what was your most unique pet?
A bat.
What? You had a bat?
Yeah, I grew up in Wisconsin in the middle of nowhere, and I found an injured bat and I kept it and fed it. And I was a little kid, and my mom found it and was like, "What the hell are you doing?" And I was like, "This is my friend." I had ducks as a kid. I caught little frogs. I had a hamster named Mr. Peepers. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Wow, that tops the charts.
Flying squirrel. Flying squirrel, yeah.
Oh, I'm flying a squirrel.
Yeah.
That's so cute.
Yeah.
That is awesome. What's the worst job you ever had?
Ooh, my friend had me come with her to her mom's. Her mom owned a hotel, and we were like 16, and she was like, "Can you be a maid for one of the days with my friend?" And I was like, "Sure." And I was there for like 3 hours, and I was like, "This is ridiculous." I worked at Spencer Gifts in college too. That wasn't really the worst, but probably the weirdest job.
Yeah.
So,
Okay, my last. Yes, Spencer's what a throwback. My last question is: what is the last thing you did for the first time?
wow. The last thing I did for the first time, I don't even know how to answer that. I don't know. I did a really gnarly workout class the other day that I was just like, this sounds like torture. This is crazy, but I don't know. I don't have anything like too wild, I guess, on that front. So,
Okay,
that's lame.
The
Sorry, I don't have
workout
better-
class. That's all good.
Yeah.
the workout class. Let's go.
And my final one is pretty simple. What is your favorite movie?
Oh, that's like picking a favorite child, I feel like. I don't know.
Yeah, I've had Jen actually got on me one time. I asked her, she's like, it's too tough to ask that one.
For
I gotta
working
stop.
in film and television, that's such a loaded question. My favorite genre is comedy, and I would
Okay.
say like my favorite movie that's just like stupid as fuck is probably Grandma's Boy.
That
And then-
movie is amazing. That movie is so funny.
Yeah,
or
look
like
that up.
Yeah.
Home Alone. I think I named my dog
Yeah.
Kevin after Home Alone, my Australian Shepherd after Home Alone, because it's like that's a good movie, and it just off the the cusp of the holidays too. But
Yep.
yeah, like I don't know, I can't really pick, but that comes to mind as like the dumbest favorite movie.
Yeah,
that's,
if you like that, have you ever seen Idiocracy?
yeah.
That's
Yeah.
that might be my favorite comedy movie.
Oh,
That one,
man.
it's kind of dumb in that same respect.
Yeah.
But it's I don't know. I think it's brilliant. It's Mike Judge. I
Forgetting
think-
Sarah Marshall. Yeah.
yeah, that's a really good one. That's a really good one.
Ugh,
Totally.
yeah.
Awesome.
Loaded question. Okay.
Classics.
Those are good.
Awesome. Well, Jenny's got to go. So, but Jen, it's a pleasure to have you on. I'm glad you responded to my tweet, even though you don't follow me, which is
Yes, I
whatever.
do.
I don't think so.
I do too.
Yeah, he was like, oh, here's Jen's Twitter, because Andy asked for it, and then
I'm only
he's like,
joking.
wait,
I
she doesn't
don't-
follow me.
I don't
Even
follow
though
you.
you
What
don't
an
follow me.
asshole.
But
What
He
an
was like,
asshole.
oh, she doesn't follow me back. I
No,
was like, oh,
what
she
million
follows me back.
percent. No, 1,000,000% call me out for that shit, because like I get so busy with like relationships, and it'll be like we'll be talking, and I'll be like, and someone will be like, bitch, you don't follow me back. I was like, yes, I do. Oh
But
man, that's
either way,
embarrassing.
you are the person in Web3 events right now, as far as I'm concerned.
Oh, damn, thank you.
I found the Art Basel spreadsheet through you, and
Okay, I'm gonna
you've done
dip. I'll let you end this
amazing events. Yep. So it's awesome stuff. Really happy to have you on. I'm glad we connected. Hopefully, we'll meet in real life sometime.
I
before
was
too
like,
long
if
to
you
your
were at
event.
if you were at Art Basel and we were there, it's like I was probably
Yeah,
running around.
we
and
probably
you were-
crossed paths at some point, for sure.
Well, that's a shame. Dang, if you're gonna be
Mhm.
here for South by Southwest or Consensus, like obviously I'm based here, so we do like the group chats and all
Consensus
that
is
stuff.
May, right? Consensus, I'm looking
Yes.
at, I just pulled it up. That's at the end of May. That's a chance
Yes.
for me. Because I really want to come to Austin. I've really been wanting to come there.
It's a vibe. I mean, right now it's like 20 degrees,
Yeah.
so don't come now.
Well,
but
I'm
like,
come at the end of May.
I think it'd be a good, financial
No doubt.
advice for sure.
No doubt.
So,
Yeah. Well, Jen, thank you
love
so
it.
much. We'll let you go, but thank you everybody for listening to this episode of the NFT Catcher podcast. We will see you in the next one. Peace.
Thank you for tuning in to the NFT Catcher podcast. We hope you enjoyed today's episode and learned something new about the exciting world of NFTs. If you enjoyed today's episode, please take a moment to subscribe to our podcast on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you listen to your podcasts. And if you really love what you're hearing, please leave us a rating and review on your favorite platform. If you want to stay up to date with the latest news and insights from the NFT space, be sure to follow us on all the socials at NFT Catcher Pod. You can follow Jennifer at Jennifer_pseudo and Michael at NFTicket. I'm your producer, Andy, and I'm at AJC254. Our theme song's by It's Just Los. We always appreciate your feedback and support, which helps us reach more people and bring you informative and engaging content about NFTs. We look forward to bringing you more great NFT content in future episodes. Thanks for listening. Peace.